said, listen, I started Jake off and I'm going to finish him.
Mike Tyson got furious at Jake Paul after their recent press conference, slamming Paul for disrespecting him at the event. Meanwhile, the head honcho of UFC, Dana White, has offered his perspective on the matter. White's focus, determining whether Tyson vs. Paul will manifest as an exhibition match or escalate into a genuine brawl. Surprisingly, White disclosed that even the commission was uncertain about the upcoming fight. The UFC CEO said, I don't think the Texas has really figured out what this is going to be because it's happening in Texas as Dallas, Texas Stadium. And the commission, I think, is still wavering on whether this is going to be a real fight, or I think Tyson wants it to be a real fight. I think the other side wants it to be an exhibition. Speculation surrounding the matter has surged since the announcement of the bout. Even Joe Rogan on his podcast expressed doubts that it would merely be an exhibition match, suggesting Tyson intended it to be a genuine addition to his fighting legacy. Meanwhile, Dana White confidently stated he had the inside scoop on why Tyson decided to step into the ring against the problem child. According to White, Tyson, despite his past glory as a champion, found himself swimming in a sea of wealth beyond the boxing arena. With the world still cheering for him, Tyson was constantly bombarded with irresistible offers he couldn't refuse thanks to his iconic status. White said, I mean, Tyson still has that aura. You can be at a restaurant and he walks in and you're like, holy, Mike Tyson's here. You know, he still has that type of aura and energy in a room. And he makes lots of money outside of the ring. I think that he ends up getting these offers that he can't refuse. But the UFC president also thought Tyson was a man of his own, therefore he acted in accordance with his moral convictions. Teddy Atlas, renowned in the Boxing Hall of Fame, and once mentor to the legendary Mike Tyson, also shared his insights on the much-anticipated fight. Teddy Atlas mentioned to Boxing King Media that Tyson is likely being paid a substantial amount of money. He suggested that the reality of the situation would only become clear in time.
What do I make of it? Let's see, let me think for a minute. You have to be a genius to figure this one. That he's getting paid a lot of money.
Do you give him any chance to beat Jake Paul? Because the way they're talking, it's a real fight.
Listen, we don't know what's real yet until we find out. I don't know if it's real. I know that Jake Paul has worked very hard to learn boxing and has been very smart about doing it. Very smart. You got to give him credit.
Atlas continued by expressing uncertainty about the fight's authenticity. He acknowledged that Jake Paul has put in a lot of effort to learn boxing and has been very strategic about it, adding that Paul is very smart and deserves credit for his approach.
And I know that even at 58 or whatever Tyson is now, I know that he's one thing that doesn't go away from a fight. I know it better than anyone because a very special man named George Foreman, at 45 years of age, beat my fighter because the one thing that doesn't disappear is...
He added that if the fight is real, the first couple of rounds would be very dangerous for Jake Paul. Atlas then explained that in those early rounds, Tyson would likely come out aggressively, making Paul miss and creating openings. He emphasized that Tyson still has the power to inflict serious damage.
Reflexes, they go away. Speed, it disintegrates a little bit, it deteriorates a little bit, but power, no, it stays. Tyson still has power. He's still, you can see, he's still got quickness. He's got those quick twitch muscles where, you know, he's still got muscle memory from when he was one of the great heavy.
On the other hand, Tyson Fury is firmly backing Mike Tyson to knock out Jake Paul. Fury believes that Paul won't be able to withstand Tyson's renowned striking strength regardless of the size of the gloves. He expressed confidence in Tyson's power, asserting that if Mike Tyson hit anybody, it wouldn't matter if he were 90 years old, they would still be knocked out cold. He referred to Tyson as the baddest man on the planet, highlighting his unparalleled reputation in the boxing world. Despite Jake Paul's extensive experience and numerous fights, Fury made it clear that his support lies with Tyson for the knockout. Noting that Tyson has always backed him in return, Fury added, if Mike Tyson hits anybody, I don't care if he's 90, he's going to knock them out cold, isn't he? He's Iron Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. Jake Paul is very experienced now, and he's had a lot of fights. But obviously I have to back Mike Tyson for the knockout, as he always backs me as Mike Tyson prepares for his first professional comeback in years. Many within the boxing community have expressed concerns about his health. However, Fury has voiced his strong support for the fight, emphasizing that it will be a fantastic spectacle. He dismissed the worries as stemming from jealousy, pointing out that those who criticize the fight are likely fighters who are not receiving significant paychecks or attention. Fury stated that negative opinions typically come from those not making money or standing to gain anything from the event. He said only jealous fighters who aren't getting paid and not getting laid. Those are the fighters that are jealous, negative people who are not making any money and are not set to gain anything from the fight. Fury also highlighted the economic benefits of the fight, noting that it has generated a substantial amount of money, particularly for Texas, where the fight will take place. The S of numerous tickets indicates a significant influx of dollars into the local economy. Additionally, he pointed out that both Mike Tyson's and Jake Paul's teams are benefiting financially. In Fury's view, the fight is a positive development for all parties involved, contributing to the local economy and supporting the teams of both fighters. Fury added, "I think it's fantastic. I think it's created a lot of money won for Texas selling all of those tickets. That means it's a big influence of dollars being spent in the local area. All of Mike's team and Jake's team is being fed from it, and a lot of rent is being paid." In an exclusive interview with Bloody Elbow during the weigh-ins for Bellator Paris, the iconic Chosanin, known for his razor-sharp talking skills and as a formidable contender for world titles, confessed his belief that Jake Paul would emerge victorious. And hailing from the era of Tyson's dominance, couldn't help but feel a whinge of sacrilege at his own prediction. He said, "I think that Jake is going to beat Mike Tyson, but that's blasphemy. I just said that I think Jake Paul is going to beat Mike Tyson. I've never said those words out loud. And that did not feel right. But he is a 2-1 favorite. I think for a reason Sinan thinks Paul is someone who can motivate others in the fighting industry, because he has presided over press conferences for Paul in the past. I'm impressed with Jake." By the way, he added, moreover, Sonnen believes that Jake Paul is a figure worthy of admiration and emulation rather than ridicule. He emphasized that Paul's methodical entry into the sport and his strategic choices deserve respect and study. Sinan highlighted that Paul has taken on some significant challenges right from the start of his boxing career. He mentioned that Paul has faced great athletes including Nate Robinson, a former NBA player known for his athleticism, and Ben Askren, a serious competitor with a strong background in wrestling. Sonnen pointed out that Paul's opponents were not just selected for their fame, but also for their athletic prowess. He also noted Paul's victories over Tyron Woodley, a former UFC welterweight champion. Sonnen described Woodley as an incredibly tough opponent, comparing the experience of touching Woodley to touching an oak tree due to his solid build. Paul managed to defeat Woodley not just once, but twice, showcasing his ability to overcome formidable adversaries. Sinan added, right off the bat, he's already taking on some great athletes. Even the slam dunk guy Nate Robinson is a great athlete. Ben Askren was a serious competitor. Tyron Woodley was a world champion. He's awesome. Have you ever touched Tyron Woodley? It's like touching an oak tree. And he got over on him twice." Sinan concluded by reiterating his belief that Paul's approach to his boxing career should be studied and copied. He sees Paul as someone who has figured out the intricacies of the sport and has demonstrated the capability to handle significant pressure and competition. In Sonic view, Paul's strategic and well-thought-out progression in boxing sets a valuable example for others to follow. Demetrius Johnson is worried about Mike Tyson in this situation. The experienced fighter's tendency to keep throwing forward blows is the reason he voiced this worry when boxing. Jake Paul is defensive and strategic, meaning he will wait for the ideal opportunity to attack while Mike advances. Mike Tyson's trick in this battle is that he might need to change up his boxing technique because his reflexes from his prime are long gone. He will undoubtedly be cut if he just advances without waiting for Jake Paul to come back. This is exactly what Mighty Mouse is concerned about. As he said, that's going to be the hardest thing for Mike, is to not get caught with something when he's trying to get to Jake Paul, right? Because we know Mike Tyson is going to go forward, and Jake Paul does have that uppercut that he hit Homeboy with that he can probably hit Tyson with as well, because Tyson does duck his head to get into the void and get across it. These concerns take on a completely different significance when considering the risk of permanent brain damage that someone of Mike Tyson's age faces from repeated punches to the face. Being punched in your 20s versus your late 50s isn't comparable. Father Time catches up with us. All those expressing apprehension about Mike Tyson have valid reasons. We're just about 2 months away from the highly anticipated live event, where the outcome will inevitably alter the trajectory of both fighters. In a recent press conference, Jake Paul made a bold promise to his fans, asserting that on July 20th, he would knock out Mike Tyson. He confidently claimed that Tyson would feel his power, and that Paul would be remembered as the man who put Tyson to sleep for the last time. He said, "What I promise to the people is on July 20th, Mike will be put to sleep, and he will feel my power, and I will go down as the man who put Tyson to sleep for the last time." Mike Tyson, however, was quick to dismiss Paul's bravado. Tyson argued that Paul lacked the knockout power to defeat him, referencing Paul's inability to knock out Nate Diaz, who is significantly lighter than Tyson. Tyson pointed out that Paul couldn't even knock out Anderson Silva and struggled to defeat Tommy Fury. Tyson questioned Paul's track record, noting that Paul has only managed to knock out less formidable opponents, implying that Paul has never faced a truly tough opponent like himself. Tyson countered, he's not going to win. He can't even knock out Nate Diaz, who is like 40 pounds. How's he going to knock me out? Who's the other guy? Anderson Silva. He didn't knock out Tommy Fury. He didn't knock those little guys out. How's he going to knock me out? Who did he knock out? Little children. He never knocked out a real man. The fighters also addressed rumors that the fight might be fixed. Jake Paul vehemently denied these allegations, warning skeptics to maintain their doubts until he proves them wrong by knocking out Tyson. He also highlighted the serious legal implications of fix a fight, calling such an act a federal crime. Paul was adamant that the fight would be legitimate, and that he was determined to defeat Tyson. I hope you'll keep that same energy when I knock this old man out. Clearly they don't have a high IQ in here. But that's a federal crime, said Paul, while Tyson simply said, I started Jake off, and I'm going to finish him. Tyson, unfazed by Paul's remarks, confidently stated that he would not lose to Paul. He reminded everyone that he had supported Paul at the start of his boxing journey, and that he intended to be the one to bring it to an end, as would be expected at an event. To build the event, the fighters took turns taunting one another, with a nod towards the 1990 bout that Tyson engaged in with Buster Douglas, with the influencer nodding to the 1990 fight Tyson had with Buster Douglas 7 years before Paul was born, saying,